In this video, I want to talk about what I believe is the foundational thing for all of high performance. Doesn't matter if you're in sports, if you are in business, doesn't matter if you're a professional like a doctor or a lawyer. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur. It really doesn't matter what you're doing. I believe that this is the foundational thing for high performance. So what is this foundational thing? Well, the foundational thing to high performance, to all of high performance, is a clear headspace. Now, what I mean by this is, if I take an example from my own experience of building my online business, the number one thing that was stopping me from doing what I knew I should be doing, the number one thing that was stopping me, that I was always stubbing myself, was this idea of confusion. Meaning, like, I had so many things in my head that I didn't know which one I should act on. Or if I started doing something, I would do it for a while, and then sure enough, something new would come up, would reappear, and I would say, like, maybe this is a better strategy to take. So to give you an example of what I mean, when I started my business, I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew what my product would be, and I was familiar with everything. But then I listened to this guy, this guru, whatever, and I was like, okay, I kind of know what I want to do, but I'm gonna go and listen to this guy. In a matter of days, I went from having clarity about what I want to do and clarity about what I need to be doing to feeling completely overwhelmed, confused, and stuck. And I stayed in that stuckness for a long time, honestly, because I stopped trusting my own insight, my own inner wisdom, if you will, and I started listening to somebody else outside of me. I've seen this happen so many times, and I've seen that this is the stumbling block of almost every high performer. So not having a clear headspace, not having a clear mindset about what I want, where am I, where I want to go, and what I want to do to get there. After I was able to clear my head and get away from all that stuff for a while, my head would clear on its own, and I knew what I needed to do. And it was very similar to what I wanted to do in the first place. Whenever you as a high performer lose touch with yourself, and you lose touch with that inner knowing, and you start listening to the outside input more than you listen to the inside input, you're always going to get stuck. You're always gonna stop moving. When you don't have clarity, it's very hard to move. And even if you do move without clarity, you're not gonna go far, because eventually you're gonna stop and you're gonna say, okay, what am I even doing? And you're just gonna lose the entire connection with yourself overall. So above everything else, having a clear headspace is the number one thing and important. If you go and spend some time in nature, maybe a day or two, right? Something very small, like a weekend, you get away from everything, suddenly you know exactly what you need to be doing. You know exactly how to proceed. You have a step that comes to you, right? It's like, sure, I should be doing that. I should go and do that, right? So keep a clear headspace as the first rule. Don't allow yourself to get confused by getting too much input from the outside world, right? Don't listen to everybody's advice. Primarily lean onto your own advice. We all have this inner knowing in ourselves that comes from clarity. When you can have a clear headspace, when you can have clarity in your mind, then you will tap into that inner knowing, which is always going to show you what you need to do. If you fill your head and you clutter it with ideas, thoughts, other people's inputs, then you will cut the connection with that inner knowing and you will get stuck. You will not be moving freely. The best way or the easiest way to get to clarity is to see through the clutter of your thoughts. If you can keep quiet for long enough time, for a long enough period, you're going to tap into that clarity. You can also ask yourself, what is it that I know I should be doing, but I'm not doing it, right? What is my inner knowing? And if you just let it sit for a while, if you ask yourself this question, you go about your day, you go shower, or you go for a walk, or you just go do something else, besides actively trying to answer that question. If you just, let your mind wander, the answer will pop into your head and you will know what to do. Now, there's a little bit of faith needed. So once you have that clarity, you have to have trust that, yes, this is the right answer, because it is. And again, what's going to happen is once you have that moment of clarity, you're again going to have interference and thoughts and say, well, but that can't be that easy. Or, but if I do this other guy said this. And you got to trust when the moment of clarity comes, you trust it, you let it go, and you act on it. So hope this video gave you some value. And if you're feeling confused, understand that the number one thing you can do is leave it be, get away from it, and clarity will come.